watching Business Today television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, the stock markets have actually lost 10 lakh crore rupees in market cap over the last 3 days of sell-off. The Nifty has shed about 350 points in the last 3 sessions as well, even though yesterday it did manage to close above the 22,300 odd mark by just a fair margin. Now, when we talk about the sectors, it was the IT and the FMCG that came to the Nifty's rescue yesterday. Well, every other sectoral index did sell off. And now, when we talk about today, there'll be big names like L&T and Hero MotoCorp from the Nifty that will be reporting their earnings today. And of course, it's also the weekly expiry for the Nifty Bank. The question is, will we see higher volatility in markets today? We will tell you over the next 90 minutes. But before that, good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are right in the middle of the week on this fine Wednesday morning, and things are not as they appear as far as Dalal Street is concerned. We'll start with the very basic. The Nifty's chart is right there in front of you. And Sakshi, there are a lot of small stories trying to come out to make a big picture as far as the broader markets and the broader sentiment is concerned on the Dalal Street. Let's take them one by one. Some points that you've already mentioned, which is the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty, and of course the fact that we've been falling for the last 3 days in a row. Now let's look at things in isolation, and then let's look at the combined picture. The 3-day fall has resulted in the Nifty closing below its 21-day exponential moving average, which in layman terms means that whatever the dip was coming in, people were buying, but now it's a sell on rise market. It essentially means that bulls are on the back foot as far as the Dalal Street is concerned and sentiment is concerned, and bears are in control. Therefore, a defensive play is in the market, and that will be visible on the Nifty IT index and the Nifty FMCG index. We'll get back to them in a little while. So the trend on the Nifty has now weakened. Therefore, you have the sell on rise. If you watch very carefully, well, the Nifty closed below its 21-day EMA. It actually rested on the 50-day exponential moving average, which was at 22,240, also the low of the market yesterday, which was 22,232. So now the play is between 21 and 50-day exponential moving average, which the bulls or the bears will try to dominate. That's a change from the time when the Nifty was above its 10-day exponential moving average. Now, what is worsening this situation? It is the India VIX. Now, look at this index, which was at 10 points some 7-8 days ago and is now at 17 points. This is a 14-month high, Sakshi, and this is very painful, because not only does it increase volatility, it also puts in question mark the kind of bull market that we've seen for a while. All this, Sakshi, is happening against the backdrop of national elections. So while two independent events are taking place parallelly, people are trying to make all sorts of combinations and permutations as to why VIX is rising. Is it because of lower turnout? Is it because the election has become tougher? Is it because the seats that were expected by the ruling dispensation are not coming? So on and so forth. Be it as it may, that's the beauty of the market. You do so many other things to keep yourself occupied. Now let's look at the other asset classes. Thankfully for us, gold, crude oil, now at its below 200-day DMA, the US 10-year yield, which is now at 4.465, are all very quiet. This is a very big plus, ladies and gentlemen, for domestic bulls. You cannot be battling constant selling, and you cannot be battling these asset classes going up. So across the world, Sakshi, assets are quiet. It's a risk off trade which is there at the moment, and therefore in that background, it is a sell on rise as far as the Nifty is concerned. The battle will be at 50 EMA, 22,240. If that breaks down, then obviously we'll push in for further sales. And the fact that nothing much is happening as far as quarterly earnings are concerned. About 20 we've analyzed, 25 we've analyzed on the Nifty. Not much of upgrades, just par for the course. Therefore, the Nifty is now undergoing a bout of profit booking. So actually, mid caps, small caps, all were thrashed. Look at the advanced decline ratio yesterday, 1:4. 1800 stocks declined on the NSE, just 400 rose. So the broader sentiment, the broader breadth is now weakening in favor of bears. Now let's come to the two good points. We'll show you the Nifty IT index and we'll show you the Nifty FMCG index. The Nifty IT index, ladies and gentlemen, is showing signs of life. It is now, after a very steep correction, up above its 10-day exponential moving average, which is a very good sign. Because there is profit booking across the board, sensible investors are going into the defensive counters, which is IT and FMCG. Look at the rally in FMCG yesterday. It just blew out. The FMCG index is now highest since Jan 25th. So these are two spaces that we will constantly analyze. And if you were with us on Monday, a heads up was given to you by Mr. Nilesh Shah, the managing director of Kotak Asset Management Company. He said valuations were ripe to get in. They've corrected very sharply over a space of time on IT and FMCG. So these are the two broad-based sectors which may move up over the next 2 or 3 months consistently. Sakshi's talked about two earnings, Hero Motors and Larsen coming in today on the Nifty. You have 5 F&O earnings, major ones being Canara, Bharat Forge, Tata Power and TVS Motors, and earnings impact will be felt on Nifty within the Nifty, Dr. Reddy's, Pidilite, Voltas and United Breweries. We'll discuss all of them in great detail. As far as the Bank Nifty is concerned, Sakshi pointed out, it's the weekly expiry. The range yesterday was about 780 points, high of 49,000, low of 48,220. Now here comes the interesting part. Yesterday the Nifty broke 21 EMA and yesterday the Bank Nifty took support on 10 EMA. Now if that breaks, then 21 is the next support level, but let's see. Flat trade expected today. Profit booking is now happening on ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, SBI, and the strongest candidate here is Kotak, where 1620 call we've been discussing for the last 2 or 3 trading sessions. Sakshi, over to you.
Right. Let's also look at how the global market cues are shaping up. So Wall Street trimmed gains on Tuesday as investors wait potential Federal Reserve rate cuts. The dollar's strength further weakened the yen as well. The Dow Jones rose about just 0.08% in trade. The S&P 500 was just up about 0.1%, while the Nasdaq dropped about 0.1% in trade. This is after disappointing US jobs data and sluggish GDP growth, sparking speculation about Fed rate cuts going forward. As far as the Asian markets are concerned, they are looking uncertain after a slow US session. Some investors doubt if the recent rally can really hold on amid the economic uncertainties. So Japanese equities were seen falling in the early trading action, while South Korea and Australia's indices were seen rising a bit. Hong Kong's futures indicate a flat opening as well. So you can clearly see over there, Nikkei now down 0.9% in trade, Kospi up by 0.07%, Hang Seng up about 0.5%, and the Shanghai index that's down by 0.1%. In trade. Trends in the GIFT Nifty are indicating a flat start for the index in India with a gain of just about 10 odd points or 0.04% in trade. As far as the flows are concerned, remember FII's sold shares worth about 3,668 odd crore rupees and the DIS pumped in 2,304 odd crore rupees worth of stocks in yesterday's trading session. As far as the earnings are concerned, as Shail pointed out, several of the earnings will see a reaction to. Dr. Reddy's first. On a consolidated basis, it's reported slightly below estimates of the earnings. Revenue up 12.6% at 7,114 crores. EBITDA up 19.4% at 1,831 crores. Margins at 25.7% versus 24.3%. And the net profit up 36.4% at 1,310 crores, although this was below the street estimates. Now, Pidilite Industries on a consolidated basis has reported a revenue which is up by almost 8% to 2,900 odd crore rupees versus 2,689 crores. EBITDA was up 25.6% to 576 odd crore rupees, and margins were seen up about 280 basis points at 19.8% for the company. As far as United Breweries are concerned, on consolidated basis, we've seen strong growth. Revenue up by 17.3% at 2,133 odd crore rupees. EBITDA up 106 66% at 143 crores. And when we talk about the margins, they've also seen a substantial uptick, 365 basis points at 6.69%. Also, the net profit has substantially risen, 726% at 81.5 crores as well for the company. Credit Access Grameen, again, the microfinance lender, has reported a 33.9% year-on-year rise in the net profit at 397 crores. So we'll keep an eye out on this one too. Indraprastha Gas, the company's net profit has jumped 16% on a year-on-year basis to 382 odd crore rupees for the Jan to March quarter. Voltas, the residential air conditioner maker, has reported a 22.8% year-on-year drop in its net profit at 110 odd crore rupees, while the revenues have seen rising by 42% at 4,202 odd crore rupees. PB Fintech, on a consolidated quarter-on-quarter basis, has seen its total income rise by about 23% at 1,188 crore rupees, and the net profit up 61% at about 60.19 crore rupees. As far as JSW Energy is concerned, apart from the earnings, the board has also approved a fundraise of 10,000 odd crore rupees from the QIP. Here, the revenue is just slightly up by 3.2% at 2756 crores, while we've seen that the margins have improved to 42%, and as far as the net profit is concerned, it's improved by 22.4% at 345 odd crore rupees. So these are some of the earnings that I'm watching out for, Shail.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the absolute wonderful time to welcome our very dear friend, Mr. Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President, Geojit Financial Services. A very warm welcome to you, Gaurang, on this lovely Wednesday morning. We were hoping that we'll be now more often in touch because the National Stock Exchange wants longer working hours, but it seems that SEBI has heard the cries of analysts such as you and me, and we'll be meeting less often, but then such is life.
I'm already going red in my face, Shail. I mean, I don't need any more additional sharirik or mansik dabav on myself. To be very honest, till about 3:30 markets, I had enough of it. I am not in love with the market, and you should not be in love with the market. And I think, honestly, I mean, Sakshi and Shail, I mean, with the kind of work exposure that people like me already have, had it gone extended, I think my life would have got shortened by maybe a couple of years. So I am very happy, though my boss would not be very happy. But having said that, I think it was a good decision, and I think everybody has to be at the same level in terms of extension of time, because if some people are not prepared, then I don't think they should be at any kind of disadvantage. Anyways, thank you very much for inviting me on the show. It's lovely to be here. Last week we could not speak to each other on the markets because 1st May, Wednesday, was a holiday on account of Maharashtra Day, and it's lovely to see Shail and myself in green.
Very good morning to you, Gaurang. But long life and a healthy life to you. And nowhere are we looking at any, change in that aspect that we wish for you. But one more day, 18th of May, Saturday will be another working day for you because the markets will be on for a special trading session on that front. So one more day we get with you.
That compensation I'm willing to pay, but I'm not willing to pay compensation every day by extension about 2.5, 3 hours. Sakshi, let me be very honest. That's a small price that I'm paying in case if the extension is not going through. So I'm quite happy with it. So one of Saturday's disaster management, viable alternative sites to fall back upon in case if something has to go wrong. And I think this has been done in the past as well, Sakshi. Yeah. So no complaints about that. And I think on that day I might be working from home.
Okay, fine. So, Gaurang, there is a special reason, of course, why we've requested you to join us on today. There are two parallel thoughts in the market, and because you've seen so much of life as far as equities is concerned, you are absolutely the right person to answer this. India VIX 14-month high, volatility peaking. You remember till about 2 weeks ago, everybody had forgotten about India VIX. कोई देखता ही नहीं था 10 के नीचे. अब क्या हुआ है? That there is this parallel national elections happening, and people are construing all sorts of outcomes, and at this time there is a market correction also underway. One, do you think all these three uh, individual events are interlinked, and two, what is the market thinking in terms of the outcome of the election?
So, Shail, we have dissected all these points quite earlier. In fact, a fortnight back, if you recollect, when we were discussing about the markets, and right from the mid of April, if you actually go to see, we were of the opinion that as we go into the election, the choppiness and volatility is going to be much, much higher. Along with that, you have fourth quarter earnings season. Along with that, you have second longest phase of election and some amount of news flows from the Middle East as far as the uh, Iran and Israel situation and what happens over there. Though there has been silence over there, but I was reading a news item this morning that in case if the peace talks don't go through, then Israel may, extensively increase its aggression at the Rafah border. I mean, again, if that has to happen, then chop. But coming back to your question, Shell, we'll have to prepare for a much more volatile time as we go into the FNO expiry at the end of this month and the last week of May and first 4 days of June till the time we see the results of the election done and dusted and the government getting formed and everything back to normal men at work as we call it. So, but India VIX last fortnight, you're absolutely right. It's been last fortnight that India VIX has been playing havoc on the market, and it absolutely very clearly indicates that there is going to be too much amount of intraday volatility. Along with that, maybe a spillover days of volatility, and that's what exactly is visible. And Shell, you don't need to have rocket science to understand the screen. When you look at the screen, if you have a little bit of understanding and experience in the market, the screen tells you that the markets are looking tired. Last week also, if you go to see on Friday, after making an all-time high, we had almost about a percentage correction on the Sensex and Nifty. Stock specific maybe more because of the news flows. So this is going to be the order of the day. In fact, on this Monday itself, once again, we had in our market outlook for the week, the video that we put out in Geojit Spotlight on YouTube, I had very clearly mentioned that if you don't have the risk appetite, short to medium term trader, take your money off the table, sit on cash, come back to the market on post 4th of June. Maybe you might get to buy a little bit higher, but at least you will have clarity and you don't have to go through this choppiness volatility. On the fourth quarter earnings, last point, Shell, I think it's going to be absolutely stock specific move. The way we saw FMCG stocks fly away yesterday, despite of the markets being so choppy and on the downside. So, markets will be choppy and volatility. On account of fourth quarter earnings, stock specific moves will be visible.
Right, very right over there, Gaurang. And I was about to ask you on the FMCG move itself. HUL moving 5.5% in a single day after a long haul. That surprised many too. How did you assess the move on the entire FMCG space? And is this sustainable? We're getting a lot of earnings come in. There are slight green shoots that managements are talking about on the rural recovery front and betting on the monsoons front. But do you think they will have enough bandwidth to improve the margins and volume growth from here on?
Honestly, Sakshi, I hope so. And why do I hope so? Because at Geojit, we have almost a dozen companies which are under our fundamental coverage. And it has been a while since FMCG started to perform. Last year, if you recollect, despite the fact we are witnessing the fourth quarter for last financial year, but I'm talking about the first, second, and third quarter last financial year for the FMCG sector. And it was absolutely, clear and present danger in terms of raw material cost going up, palm oil prices playing a havoc because of certain, restrictions that were put in place by Thailand, which is one of the largest producers of palm oil. And over here, we had an erratic monsoon, and because of that, the demand from semi-urban and rural India could not support the volume growth, and that led to a little bit of downside as far as the sales and profitability numbers are concerned. Cut to come back to the present situation. Not only HUL, Britannia, Dabur, Marico, which announced their numbers, including Godrej Consumer, etc. all of them have reported good top line growth, supported by semi-urban and rural India demand, along with metros, tier 1, tier 2 cities. Input cost that was playing a havoc on the margin side has cooled off a little bit, and hence you've seen a better number on the margin front. And more importantly, Sakshi, the Met Department has given an outlook that this time around, the monsoon is going to be normal long-term averages or above normal, which indicates that the spending capacity as far as the rural folks is concerned is going to be at a higher level. So, and India was, is, and will always remain a consumption-driven economy, Sakshi. We remain positive on HUL, ITC, Dabur, Marico, Britannia, Nestle, Tata Consumer, Godrej Consumer. Uh, Maybe I must have forgotten a couple of names over there, but extremely positive on the FMCG pack.
Anything on Pidilite you'd like to highlight after the earnings? We've seen a Citi report which has come with a sell and a target price of 2200 on this one. They believe that there is a miss on all fronts according to their own estimates, and they've also highlighted that the management now sees short-term softness to continue. How would you look at the stock?
Sakshi, I beg your pardon. What was the name of the stock? I didn't
Pidilite.
get the name.
Pidilite.
Pidilite.
Yes.
You know my opinion about the foreign brokerage houses report. I don't need any foreign brains to understand where my market is going, nor do I need any foreign brains to understand where a particular company is going in terms of earnings visibility from a long-term point of view. Since you pointed out this particular name, Pidilite Industries, let me give you a disclosure once again. I'll have to possibly dive into the coverage status. So Pidilite continues to be under our coverage on the buy side, Sakshi. And this is one particular sector, that is specialty and agrochemicals, which we believe is now prepared to take a flight and gain altitudes in terms of numbers improving purely because of that China plus one, India plus one, which was not really working out. It had a little bit of problem in terms of the products which were under development could not be launched at an appropriate time, and of course the offtake in terms of numbers for the export market. But Pidilite, UPL, Aarti Industries, PI Industries, Vinati Organics, all these names, SRF, all these are under our positive coverage. And Pidilite, as of now, we have a buy stroke hold rating on Pidilite. And just in case, if because of this, Gora report, if the stock has to come down, I think you should look at it as an opportunity of buying.
Okay. In this world of markets, Gaurang, what also works is a couple of totkas, and I have realized that the day I have very sweet tea with a lot of sugar, it helps bulls. So I have just got one made. I wish I could send a cup to you and Sakshi as well, but I'm just sort of informing you, and you can get one made in your office. I've had wonderful coffee with you about 2 months ago. It was fabulous. Sakshi, you must visit Gaurang's office as well. Okay, now comes the difficult question. Gaurang, there is a minority view in the market that chemicals have turned around given the export numbers that we saw for the month of March. Somehow that view got dented from yesterday's earnings at Navin Fluorine. Now, what is your estimation of the chemical cycle? Has it turned for the better? And if yes, one or two stocks that you can share for the long term, which is 2 years holding for our viewers.
So, Shail, things have improved at the initial stage. How do we call it? Grassroots levels. For the entire impact of this turnaround to reflect on the numbers, it's going to take a while. It's not going to be something that will happen overnight, Shail. And that's purely because of the counter-dependent sectors which help the specialty and agrochemicals grow. For example, your agrochemicals is totally depend upon the agro activity, and agro activity is counterly dependent on how good the monsoons are. So last year, like I mentioned, it was a bad erratic monsoon. this time around, let's hope so that the monsoon is good enough. The rain gods are kind enough to shower their blessings on pan-India basis, so that we don't have to see the situation that we faced last time. So, and with respect to the export market that you referred to, yes, there has been again a green shoots visible over there. But to counter Chinese companies' presence in the geographies that they cater to, and for Indian companies to make inroads is going to take a while. And the sense and wisdom has prevailed upon the international players that you can't be relevantly or totally dependent on a particular geography or a particular company in that particular geography. So you have seen improvement. So I'm not saying that improvement is not there. Two names that I would like to possibly uh, highlight over here. One would be PI Industries, and second one would be the one that Sakshi and myself just discussed a while back on fallback of that city report downgrade. That is Pidilite Industries. I think it will be a great opportunity to buy Pidilite in case if the stock has to go down on fallback of those reports.
Okay. With that background in mind, you know, I could quibble with you, Gaurang, that Pidilite is actually an FMCG play or a real estate ancillary play rather than a pure chemicals output. Fair enough. Let's stick with Pidilite. You know, the risk there is a lot lesser. Now, how about IT? Sakshi had a word with you on the FMCG space. What is your estimation on IT? Numbers have been nothing to talk about, but is the worst priced in? The index itself is below 200-day in a roaring bull market.
So, Shail, I was a little bit surprised by the numbers that were reported by Coforge. Uh, Not to forget, of course, I think it was down 10% or what, correct me if I'm wrong, post numbers. Uh, Even one of the other mid-cap IT names delivered a little bit disappointing numbers. So, our sense, Shell, is that post second quarter this new financial year, FY25, is when you will see meaningful improvement in the earnings for the IT sector. Post earnings, the commentary has been quite strong in terms of business outlook, larger clients getting roped in, margins being intact, and most importantly, Shell, the attrition numbers that most of the large cap and mid cap IT companies reported were much lower. So that's a sign of relief. And they have also been open to new recruitments just in case the opportunity arises, which was not the case, at least for the third or in the second quarter. They had put a hold in terms of new headcounts. So earnings will improve, but it's not that over here again it's going to be an immediate positive impact. Second quarter, this financial or onwards, that is ineffectively third quarter onwards, you will see a meaningful improvement in the earnings, and that will start reflecting upon the stock prices as well.
Okay, fair point. Now it's 9 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. We are just waiting for the markets to open. I don't want to look at this number at all. 300 points down on the Nifty. 22,000 has been taken out. This will improve and improve dramatically. There's no such thing happening in the markets which merits this kind of a view. Nevertheless, let me just point out some prices. Out of whack, absolutely. TCS 172 rupees lower, 3807. What's in the green? Let me just look at the green. Earnings boy today, L&T, 2 rupees 25 higher, 3430. SBI ahead of earnings, 5 rupees higher, 807. Nifty is improving. When it improves further, I'll let you know the price. Lever, now this is interesting, 3 rupees 60 higher, 2383. Remember, this was the top performer yesterday. Let's look at the NSE Nifty in totality. Okay, Hero Motors 0.5% higher, 44.99. It has earnings today. I want to see what the FMCG pack is doing. Okay, Britannia is down 2%, 5061. Nestle is down 1.4%, 2480. These are the two that are there in the frontline counters. Let's look at the entire FMCG stable and see how stocks are moving. Okay, Godrej Consumer continues with yesterday's rally, 1% higher, 1336. Procter and Gamble Health and Hygiene, 0.5% higher, 1592. There's nothing much happening there. Let's look at the FNO space and look at top gainers and top losers. Nothing much of consequence coming in here. HPCL is 1.5% higher, 522. This is the bonus boy. AB Capital, a third of a percent higher, 220. Nothing much here. Let's look at some other moves. For some reason, HDFC AMC is the top loser, 4% lower, 34.25. Still a lot of activity. Okay, first sensible stock that I can look at. Voltas post earnings, which were below estimates, is 6% lower, 1300. Remember, for the last two trading sessions, the counter has been under profit booking, and Voltas numbers, profit after tax for the fourth quarter was down 23%, and the margins were also 3 percentage points lower. Okay, what are the top gainers as far as FNO is concerned? IOC, how interesting, 1.9% higher, 162.90. Muted crude oil prices are helping all three OMCs, and this is something that needs to be looked into. IT, Coforge, 0.7% higher, 44.50. Very quick look at NSE 500. Okay, Credit Access Grameen, earnings boy, 5% higher, 14.99. Policy Bazaar, again earnings, which Sakshi had pointed out, 2.2% higher, 12.72. That's about it as far as decent prices are concerned. The Nifty is now a sensible 100 points lower, and now let us see what the three index heavyweights are doing. Reliance, 20 rupees lower, 27.82. Infosys, 8 rupees lower, 14.32. And HDFC Bank is 21 rupees lower, 14.85. These are the broad markets as far as pre-opens are concerned. We'll wait for them to settle. Gaurang, now coming to Kotak. All the worst that could happen seems to have happened, and the stock now seems to have got its mojo back. Earnings were fantastic. How do you see the counter?
First of all, let me express my displeasure as to what happened, Shail. Being one of the largest private sector banks, Kotak Mahindra Bank, if you are ignorant about the risk that involved with respect to your technology platform, and despite of the fact that RBI was in conversation and consultation with the management of Kotak Mahindra Bank for a long time, they did not take necessary steps to resolve the issues which were highlighted by the Reserve Bank of India. And as a fallout, RBI had to take the steps that it took in terms of onboarding new clients. So it is rather very disappointing that in an era of today's technology changes that we are going through, and the more importantly, Shail, the risk that we are exposed to as far as technology platforms is concerned. In case if you are a little bit, relaxed about protecting your IT environment and platform, the result could be very disaster. Anyways, coming back to the point, the question that you asked me, we maintain a positive stance. Even then, when the issues were highlighted and onboarding of clients were restricted by Reserve Bank of India, the stock corrected to maybe about 1500 or so. Numbers were super excellent as far as Kotak Mahindra Bank. Last week on Saturday, they announced their numbers. Above street estimates, we are maintaining a buy call on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Just give me a minute, Shail. I think since the numbers were out, we okay. Earlier we had a buy call. Since numbers have come out over the weekend, the stock is under review right now. So I won't be in a position to straight away answer buy, sell, and hold. But I'm sure these numbers are going to be looking more encouraging. My only issue is that now that this is the kind of delivery that they can do, I hope that they fast track the resolution as far as issues highlighted by Reserve Bank of India. That will be a great game changer.
All right, will be a great game changer. We will continue to look at that. Now, let's welcome our other guest also on the show. Joining us now is Mitesh Panchal. Mitesh, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Do tell us, how are you looking at this continuous weakness for the last 3 to 4 trading sessions as far as markets are concerned? Pre-opening again suggesting some weakness. How do you see the Nifty and the Nifty Bank panning out on the day of the weekly expiry for the Nifty Bank?
Yeah, good morning. Now, as far as Nifty is concerned, if you look at the daily chart, there is a double top formation in the range of 22,700 to 22,750. And both the times Nifty has made an attempt but unable to cross it. On the lower side, probably 22,000, 22,250 is acting as a pretty strong support. So we are near to the support. So we are expecting that today's weakness as the day progresses will be covered, and we may close the day with a good amount of gain, because if you look at last 3 days of an action, especially from 2nd of May till date, the correction has been brutal and sharp, and now the indices are trading at a level from where the bounce is expected. As far as Nifty Bank is concerned, again in Nifty Bank, we are of the view that the recent low, that is of 48,213, will be defended on a closing basis. We don't see any close below 48,000 for the day, and if it closes, then the sell-off may get extended, but we are of the view that it will not, it will get defended. So on both the indices, Nifty and Bank Nifty, we are trading near the support. Probably in today's trading sessions or tomorrow, we will see a strong recovery.
Okay. Mitesh, your two top stock ideas for today?
Okay, so as far as stock ideas are concerned, we are of the view that things which are looking promising at this stage is probably the MNC counter. So first among them is AstraZeneca Pharma. We are of the view that AstraZeneca Pharma has formed, it is going through a pretty strong consolidation phase. And now going forward, stock will witness a strong up move. However, on the upside, 5,500 is acting as a pretty strong resistance, but sooner than later it will get crossed. So at the price of 5,240, one can go long in AstraZeneca Pharma with a stop loss of 5,000 for a target of 5,500 and 5,600 respectively. Second stock which we are looking from the another basket is Praj Industry. If you look at the chart pattern of Praj Industry, then Praj Industry on the weekly chart has given a breakout on 3rd of May 2024 by giving close above 530. However, since last 2 to 3 days, we are witnessing a correction because of the market, but we are of the view that the lower end of the range, that is 500 to 510, will get defended. So at 526, one can go long with a stop loss of 500 for a potential target of 550 and 575. So AstraZeneca Pharma and Praj Industry, these are the two buy calls for the day.
Okay, the Nifty, while in the red, has settled just a sensible 71 points lower at 22,232. Ladies and gentlemen, this was yesterday's low, and this is also the 50-day exponential moving average. If it breaks below that in the first 15 minutes of trade, then a new set of shorters will enter the market. Good morning to you, Mitesh, and a very warm welcome on Market Today. Your view on Kotak Bank. What are the charts telling you?
Okay, so let me give you a disclaimer, Shailji, that Kotak Mahindra Bank and HDFC Bank are the two banks which are suggested in the beginning of this year as a yearly call to all our clients. So they might have a direct or indirect position in both Kotak Mahindra Bank and HDFC Bank. Now, particularly coming to the setup of Kotak Mahindra Bank, on the weekly chart, the stock has finally formed its bottom. We are of the view between 1,550 and 1,600, and as of now, we're looking at the risk reward ratio. It is looking very attractive, so one can definitely go long at 1,643, which is yesterday's close, with a stop loss of 1,550 for probably the potential target of 1,800 and 1,900 in the next 1 to 3 months. We are of the view that Kotak Mahindra Bank has formed a bottom. If you look at the chart pattern, combination of a chart pattern of daily and weekly, and now slowly and gradually stock will inch towards 1,700, 1,800. So definitely Kotak Mahindra Bank as of now is a buy.
Okay, and how about SBI?
State Bank of India. Okay. Now, if you're looking at
Mitesh, this was for you.
Sorry.
This was for you, Mitesh, SBI.
Yeah, okay. If you look at the chart pattern of any PSU per se, whether it's a Bank of Baroda, PNB, SBI, or Canara Bank, since last 2 to 3 days we have seen a very strong weakness in the counter. But that does not change the monthly and the quarterly chart structure. So we are of the view that the breakout which State Bank of India has given on the weekly chart for the week ended 26th of April 2024, in which from 732 stock has made a high of 860. That breakout is still intact. With the current weakness, that breakout has not changed. And we are of the view that sooner than later, stock will once again bounce back and get into the range of 830, 850 kind of a range. So at this point at 802, it's definitely an attractive buy with a stop of 780 for a potential target of 850 and 880. Sooner than later, we are of the view, Shailji, that the entire PSU basket, that is Bank of Baroda, PNB, Canara Bank, and SBI, will definitely surprise the street. And we are looking a very strong gain in next 1 to 3 months.
Okay, understood that. Gaurang, I wanted to take your view on BPCL and HPCL again, now that they'll be considering the bonus issue plan as well. How are you looking at these two counters? You've shared your view on the entire OMC pack even earlier, but with this new offering coming in?
So it's going to be a trigger for short term, Sakshi, absolutely no denial about that. And depending upon the exact time and the ratio, stock is going to be in spotlight. My sense personally is that post the election and the government being in place on 5th of June, divestment process is going to kick off at a large scale, which has been put in public domain in terms of verbatim, but actually if you go to see hardly any work at ground level in terms of divestment. And each and every time the Honorable Finance Minister stands up to give the speech and gives a target of divestment, it falls through. It doesn't really materialize. So I hope that now with the valuation looking attractive for most of the PSU companies, including oil marketing, oil exploration, defense, etc., this particular process should be on a fast track. Currently, we have coverage on all the three oil marketing companies, Sakshi, HPCL, BPCL, IOC. IOC is under review right now.
Okay. Just about 30 seconds remaining for the markets to open.
Fair point.
Yes, Shail.
Let's look at how the opening is stacked up, Sakshi. A bit of red as far as the Nifty is concerned. A downtick of 71 points. Let's hope the 50-day moving average remains with the bulls. And of course, the Nifty Bank, it's starting about 161 points lower, 48,124. Remember, today is the weekly expiry of the Nifty Bank. A few seconds away from where the markets will start. Remember, we are looking at strength in FMCG and IT because markets are now defensive, and we are looking at weakness across the board. Okay. It's a decent start, 50 points lower, 22,245 on the Nifty, 128 points lower on the Bank Nifty. IT index is in the red, the Nifty 500 is in the red. Okay. Now let's look at the index heavyweights. HDFC Bank 11 rupees lower, 1495. Reliance 4 rupees lower, 2799. Let's look at Infosys 3 rupees 70 lower, 1436. Now let's look at Lever. Okay, Hindustan Unilever is 14 rupees down, 2363. ITC a rupee higher, 441. How about Kotak? 6 rupees lower at 1637. All 10 indices, all 10 index heavyweights, ladies and gentlemen, are in the red. Earnings boy L&T 1 rupee 27, 43 rupees lower at 3383. Let's look at some other stocks which are now acting as far as gainers are concerned. Let's look at the losers first. Okay, Voltas earnings boy 7% lower, 3 days down, 1285. Dr. Reddy's reacting to earnings 4% lower, 6,006. Naveen Fluorine reacting to earnings 4% lower, 32.45. There is a green tick on RECL. Now this is interesting. 511 up about a percent. Let's look at the top gainers in NSE 500. Earnings Boy, Credit Access Grameen 5% higher, 1500. You have a strong move coming in CG Power 1.6% higher, 571.60. How about FNO space, and then we'll reach out to Mitesh. Okay. The top gainers are Gas Authority 195.80, 1.6% higher. IGL 1.4% higher, 442. Dixon, Vedant, Biocon, Chambal Fertilizers are among gainers. How about the broader markets? Let's look at the advanced decline. Okay, all 19 are in the red, ladies and gentlemen. The main PSU index on the banking side 0.5% higher. So it's not starting well. Advance and decline are in the favor of bears. 1139 stocks in the red, 662 in the green. Mitesh, to you first. Anything that catches your fancy on the long or the short side, what are you looking at?
Probably, Shailji, I think we should go ahead with the Coal India because the structure is looking pretty interesting in the initial hours. Coal India, from the current level, we are of the view that the stock in yesterday's close has defended its strong support of 450. So probably with 450, one can go long at the current level of 458 for a potential intraday target of 470, 475. So Coal India is what is looking promising in the early hours.
Okay. I'd like your view on Voltas first. 8% now down. Mitesh, how would you look at the stock? Is it a buy on dip candidate?
See, if you look at the Voltas, it had a very strong run from 19th of March from a level of 1046 to the level of 1500 on 6th of May. Since last 3 days, including today, the stock is forming lower top, lower bottom formation. And such a 3 days fall has not witnessed in the entire history of Voltas. If you look at the Voltas from its listing from 1987 till date, and if you draw the weekly chart, including the COVID period, on a back-to-back for 3 trading sessions in a row, such price pattern has not been witnessed. So we are of the view that this weakness will persist going forward, and let us wait and watch for the bottom formation. There is no need to go and just buy the stock as of now because the structure has damage, and we are of the view that the stock is now ready to test 1150 between 1100 and 1150. So let's wait and watch. Let us see where the bottom formation will take place. Not in a hurry. Whenever the trend will reverse, we'll take a position. Better to take such trades at a higher level rather than catching the falling knife. So the advice is very simple. Wait and watch because we are trading in a very volatile zone. So it's not just for Voltas. For any stock which is going very well in last 1 or 2 months and it is suddenly cracked does not mean it's a buying opportunity. Wait and watch, let the bottom formation take place, and then only you take the call.
Okay. The top mover in the FNO space is Indraprastha Gas after the earnings, 5% higher. The company had reported a jump of 16% year on year in the January to March net profit to 382 odd crore rupees. How would you look at this one after the earnings, Mitesh?
Okay, IGL again in IGL, the problem is that the sustainability of the trend is not happening on a monthly or a quarterly chart. So IGL per se, my buy will be above 465. As of now, I'll wait and watch. We'll see to it what exactly is the delivery based volume, what exactly is the open interest addition. So technically speaking, 465 is an intermediate resistance. Above that, the stock is looking promising. So wait and watch for 465 to get cross on a closing basis.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have the first trade for today, and it's Marico. Remember, there was a blowout yesterday. It was the top gainer in the FNO space, FMCG space, as also within the FNO space and the NSE 500. Mitesh, coming to you up front, Marico 1.2% higher. Do you chase this momentum despite a 10% rise yesterday?
Not at all. See, in FMCG, whenever a single day move will take place, LG, majority of the buying is coming from the safe haven guys. Okay. So the sustainability of, even if you look at yesterday, I mean, the way by which the Tata Consumer has gone up, Actual has gone up, Britannia has gone up, Nestle has gone up, Marico has gone up, even ITC has not participated, surprisingly. But we'll have to see to it what exactly is the sustainability of the trend. As I said, in case of Voltas, it is better to buy at a higher price after the proper confirmation rather than buying at a lower price by getting excited with the price. As far as Marico is concerned, a single day move, I don't think we can remember when such move took place in such stocks last time. So we'll have to see to it the sustainability of the trend. And that is the need of an hour right now in this market. That don't get excited with an upside to you take a call of shorting the stock or downside to take a call of buying the stock. Wait and watch, let the trend properly get played out. And when you look at the higher time frame, I mean, if I look at the on the daily chart, of course, all the indicators on the daily charts are indicating Marico as a strong buy. But when you plot it on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly, the story is different. So I will not chase this momentum. I will wait and watch and see to it what exactly is the follow-up buying, and then only will take the call.
Fair point, and there are full marks to be paid as far as caution is advised, given the way how VIX is moving. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now there is a change in mood as far as the market is concerned. From a low of 22,190 as far as the Nifty is concerned, now we are at 22,249. That makes it a 150 point move from the day's low to all the way up. Now I see days high everywhere. After 3 days of fall, there is a massive, you can call it short covering or you can call it a decent buying momentum. The Nifty is slowly moving towards green. Remember, it had opened about 70, 75, 80 points lower, and now it's just 41 points lower. PSU banks are on a tearing hurry. Union Bank up 2.2%, Bank of Baroda up 2%, Canara Bank 1.3% higher. Remember, Canara Bank is the earnings boy today. Central Bank, PNB, Bank of India, SBI, IOB, Maharashtra Bank, all of them in the green. Mitesh, my apologies for pressing you for a good trade on the long side after a very sharp sell-off. What would you buy? Anything at all that catches your fancy within the PSU basket or the banking basket?
Selji, I mean, this is an absolute open call that entire PSU is up for a buy. So whether it's an REC PFC, whether it's SBI, PNB, Bank of Baroda, CanBank, whether it's a Coal India, BAIL, it's simply a buy because the kind of structure, I mean, that's what we have discussed, I think 2 or 3 months before. That and especially I remember about REC and PFC both, that the entire extension of the trend has taken place in REC, PFC and entire PSU just now only. I mean, we are not habituated to look at these stocks on a quarterly or on monthly charts or on a half yearly chart. That's the reason why a 5, 10, 15 or 20% move is exciting us and forcing us to tell that is the rally over or not. But that is not the case. In case of a very long consolidation, look at BAIL. The way by which the stock has consolidated for n number of years and now has given a breakout. 100 to 100% gains even from the current level is absolutely possible. So the rally in PSU is unstoppable irrespective of the decision about the government, which government will come or not. Reason being is this, that after years of consolidation, the space has come out. Okay, so a clear-cut buy for all the PSU on the dips. No need to even look at the daily or weekly chart. The reason being is this, that the long-term consolidation has just played out. So it's a long way to go, sir.
Okay, let me get Gaurang's view here as far as REC and PFC is concerned. REC has just come out with a statement, Gaurang, on the RBI's project finance draft proposal, saying that they will not see any adverse impact of that on them. And they've also mentioned that RBI's draft guidelines are not applicable to loans guaranteed by the government. Perhaps this was one news that led to a sharp fall intraday on both REC and PFC just a few days ago. How are you looking at this statement, and in hindsight, was it a great opportunity to buy into these stocks?
Actually, the problem with the market is, in a market which is on a downward move, profit booking, is showing fatigue. Any kind of news flow which is even not closely relevant, the market starts reacting as if already that has been put in place and these companies have gone out of the window in terms of their profitability and growth is concerned. RBI clearly mentioned that it is a proposed guidelines to implement 5% additional general provisioning in three phased out manners on infrastructure projects. Government has been pushing over the last many years to make India a manufacturing hub. Point number one. Point number two. Any incremental step taken by any respective authority, if it is going to hamper that particular objective of the government, then it is going to be relooked, introspect, and thought whether it is worthy of implementing such regulation or not. 2 days back, 3 days back, when this so-called proposed guidelines were put out in the public domain, I saw the entire section of people reacting as if these companies' profitability has gone to zero and they are in red. I mean, for the love of God, at least please read between the lines, try to understand what the words are there in the lines, and then possibly react. To your answer your question, I'll put one thing very flatly on the sector, that is power generation, which includes power finance companies, which includes power generating companies, power transmission companies, and power equipment companies. Sakshi, if you are not bothered about this unnecessary noise pollution in the market, then please don't react to these kind of news items. The growth for power sector and all these four ancillary sectors which are very closely related to power is going to be huge. I mean, look at defense sector. I'm again and again repeating myself. This performance of defense sector is not going to stop here. It is going to go much ahead from here. Similarly, the impact of policy changes will have a positive impact on power, on railway related stock, on infra related stock. So don't get taken away, swayed by these unnecessary noises in the market.
Fair point. While Mitesh advises caution, Gaurang is just saying avoid the noise, buy into India, buy into all sorts of dips that are coming into the market. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been extraordinarily lucky when it comes to spotting option opportunities. Remember, in just less than 5-7 minutes, the entire market complexion has changed. Advanced declines have moved in the opposite direction now. There are 1227 advances versus just 823 declines. Now this is moving in positive territory. We have the 22,300 call. I'll request the PCR to show the 22,300 call for the Nifty, which is expiring on May 16th. This is right there in front of you, 197. Mitesh, coming to you, does it make sense to take a swing trade when it comes to this particular option right there in front of you after 3 days of fall and maybe an improvement in sentiment? What would you say?
Sanjay, see, I'm not a man of an option, so absolute apologies that I don't understand this entire nitty-gritty of how the open interest and put call ratios and everything works in options. But at the end of the day, we all are fighting for a good alpha. And in such a swing trade, it is advisable, or such a swing in the index, it is advisable to look at the stock specific. And as we have discussed today, I think it's a long day for PSU to go long. I mean, even if you go long at this point of time in any of the PSU, you are going to make a good amount of money. So absolute apology for not commenting anything on the options, because that is not my cup of tea. We have never spent our time on the options. But yes, in such a swing trades, better to take those stocks, like for example, even if you go long today in ABB or a Polycab, or for an example, overall reality, that will give you a very strong profit in next 1 or 2 days.
Fair point. All caution that comes in is very welcome. Just keep this call on your radar, the ones that we've mentioned. This is the 22,300 call for the Nifty expiring on May 6th, at the moment at about 189.25. Remember, the most recent high for this call has been 538 rupees. We'll keep this in mind. Do also contact your independent financial advisor on this one. Coming to you, Gaurang, between the time we last spoke to each other and now, telecom has taken a flight of fancy. Tejas Networks for you. Would you want to stick your neck out on this one? Almost a fresh record high.
So, similarly, Shell, like I mentioned, see the way government is moving forward towards technology, trying to establish the most powerful web connectivity as far as semi-urban and rural India is concerned, and the need of the hour in terms of modern India. I won't be stock specific because on Tejas I don't remember whether we have a coverage or not. But these are the companies which will evolve over a period of time as the focus of the government and as the policies which are constructed and stood out and put in public domain and put into practice as far as ground level is concerned. So these are all strong names, whether it is Tanla platforms or whether it is Tejas Networks, or there are other 2-3 companies, I don't remember the name exactly right now. But these are, companies which are going to be driving the policy changes that the government wants to put in place.
Fair point. Stock to watch, ladies and gentlemen, will be Marico. Now 590 rupees. Let me just get some good data on how the volumes are shaping out. We've had the first 15 minutes of trade, and let's look within BSC 500. Okay, RECL. Okay, interesting. 389 crores, the most active traded counter, 3.7% higher. Mitesh, would you stick your neck out? REC, PFC, both of them up.
No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. The reason being is this, that Shelji, just observe few things on REC PFC. Whenever any correction has come, what has happened post that? And post that, those people who have shorted have made a heavy loss, looking at the chart pattern. So this counter is not advisable to short at all. Whenever you get a 5-7-3% kind of a dip, definitely buy it. REC for the day, even we have not half an hour, it's 933 and trading at 4% upside. And as you know, the lot size is also higher, so it's not a cup of tea for a retailer to an extent. So yes, technically speaking, above 529, it is trading at 528. Above 529, there is a breakout on a 15-minute chart, and that will take the stock to 540 for the day. So yes, definitely at 4.29% higher by 22 rupees, I do not hesitate to take the call.
Fair point. That's a very positive view coming in. Remember, REC and PFC were thrashed black and blue 2 trading sessions ago, post this RBI notification on how new lending was to be trailed. Now just it's taking it away. 532.75. I think Mitesh caught it at the right point of time. Let's look at some other movements that have happened. HDFC, Voltas and L&T are down in the red, and they are showing fairly decent transactions between 250 crores to 385 crores. Remember, REC, we just spoke about it at 3.2% higher. Now it's leapt up 4.9, 5% higher, ladies and gentlemen, and the volume transaction is now 462 crore rupees. I just want to see how much trade has happened in the Nifty FMCG index as far as Marico is concerned. Remember, yesterday the volumes were 20 times the 5-day average, so the steep curve has already begun. About 138 crores worth of transactions. The counters just up 1% higher. Varun Beverages 2.5% higher, 1480. I think the day will belong to the entire PSU pack, and there is no stopping Kotak Mahindra Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll also show you the 1620 option call on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Let me just see what the price is. If I remember correctly, we had caught it at about 42.43, and it's now days high 54. Sakshi, what are you watching?
PSU banks, Shell, after yesterday's drubbing, all the stocks within the PSU banking index are higher in trade today, and an otherwise weaker sentiment that is being seen on the benchmark indices, anywhere to the tune of 1 to 2.5% the kind of surge that we can see, of course, led by SBI, Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank and Union Bank as well. Gaurang, to you, of course, we did see a stupendous rally unfold, consolidation play out, again some momentum building up. Would you still say that, even now one can go ahead and take a fresh buy into any of these names?
You're talking about public sector banks, Sakshi?
Yes, Gaurang.
Yeah, so I mean, again, stock-specific approach. I would not go and buy anything and everything as far as PSU banks are concerned, because some of the smaller names in the PSU bank universe are still having difficulty with their balance sheet, and it is going to be a while. So having said that, I think State Bank of India, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, PNB. Out of these, I think State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda and Bank of India possibly announcing the numbers this week, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's what I had just glanced upon some time back. And my sense is that there's going to be great improvement in terms of asset quality. Loan book growth is going to be much stronger on fallback of credit demand, and provisionings are slowly and steadily coming back to the positive side of the balance sheet because of the recovery process. So we remain positive on these 4-5 names in the PSU bank universe.
Okay. Got that. Let's again look at what is buzzing in trade apart from the PSU banking story. It's Coal India that's shot up, as Mitesh was also pointing out. I think this was the first stock he discussed on the show as his top bet, 1.9% higher in trade right now as far as Coal India is concerned. Mitesh, would you want to look at it again?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 464 is what the 15-minute chart says, that the stock is on a fire, and probably today we will see the stock trading near 475 for the day. So there is no looking back for selected PSUs. This is a good opportunity to get in. Probably after a month or a quarter, we may talk about the same stock at 125, 150 euros.
Okay, 550 odd rupees is something that we can continue to look at it. Gaurang, many are now looking at Coal India with the perspective that perhaps it could be making diamond in the rough. How are you looking at Coal India?
Well, Sakshi, I think it was about a fortnight back, the Ministry of Mining, I believe, had come out with a report saying that the offtake of numbers in terms of sales for Coal India is going to be a little bit of concern in the mid to longish future, given the fact that companies which are dependent on buying coal from Coal India are having their own captive capacity coming on stream, commercialization as we call it in our language. So the offtake is going to be a little bit lower. Point number one. Point number two, the Honorable Prime Minister has already spoken about 2030 and beyond being the target time for reducing our carbon footprints. And for that, by default, you have to switch to alternative clean and green fuel and use less of coal if you want to get towards that net zero carbon kind of a possibility. Currently, we are maintaining a buy stance on Coal India. Numbers were good. Quality of coal has improved because of the number of washeries that Coal India has added to clean the coal which is mined out. Somewhere close to about 500 is the target, Sakshi, on Coal India.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the sentiment keeps on improving. Now the advanced decline ratio is improving in favor of bears. At the moment, you have about 1297 advances, almost 1300 advances versus declines of 784. Whether it will continue or not, only time will tell. But for the moment, it seems a fairly clean picture to me. The Nifty is at its day's high, 22,258. Therefore, the 50 EMA, at least for now, has held. Now, let's see how things progress from now on. Let's look at the advanced decline ratios in the markets and specific indices. Broader picture is fairly fine. Okay. Now remember, we started the market with only one index that was up, the Nifty PSU index. Now, after 3 days of correction, the entire market has started to at least show some light color of green. And Gaurang, I must compliment you and myself that we started the day talking about green color. You have a green tie, I have a green shirt as well as a green tie. So you know, like I said, these टोटका जो होते हैं ये बाजार में बहुत काम करते हैं. मीठी चाय और a green shirt and a green tie. That's how it works. It, by the way, rhymes also. Okay, coming back to advanced decline. Okay, NSE 500 I want to see. 292 shares in the green, 208 in the red. Okay. There is a breakout happening even in this kind of a market. And Mitesh, I'd like you to see Quest Corp. This is an IT stock, and we have the counter at a 52-week high, 650 almost. Would you want to stick your neck out on Quest Corp? This is yes, this is a very, very interesting chart. Mitesh, to you, Quest Corp.
Yeah, indeed, it's a very interesting chart. If you look at the weekly chart after a rally from a level of 488 to the tune of 643, since last 3 weeks is consolidating in the range of 618 on the downside and 644 on the upside. Now, in today's session, it has given a strong breakout with volume in the early hours. So we are of the view that the extension of the trend will take place and stock likely to test 680 to 700 levels in next 15 to 20 trading sessions. So yes, definitely Quest Corp is a buy with a stop of 625 for the first target of 680 followed by 700 in next 10 to 15 trading sessions.
Okay, now coming to volume buzzers, ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive breakdown happening on Sonata Software. I'm not sure why, but 12% lower, 13% lower at 555. Very strong volumes, 27 lakh shares. This is 7 times the average. We'll take a look at it later. Navin Fluorine is in the green. Now, this buttresses two thoughts. One, that despite the negative number, despite a very sharp fall in EBITDA, despite the CEO resigning about 2 weeks ago, the counter is in the green despite all negativity. Now you can think in terms of how the entire chemical cycle is moving, or you can think in terms of how frontline blue chips in the chemicals space are navigating this still downtrend. Okay. What else is moving that I can talk about in terms of volumes? Nothing in terms of how stocks are looking. Sonata reported weak earnings, 3% year-on-year drop in net profit, 210 crores, and revenue from operations has risen marginally, 14% higher, 2191 crores. So that's the news driving behind it. But very, very strong moves coming in the private banking space as well. Federal Bank, the management was with us a while ago. That was doing fairly well, but I think it's Kotak that's taking it away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 block deals in front of me at 1654. Let me just again mark the 1620 call that we had taken. It's now, ladies and gentlemen, at day's high, 56 rupees. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Metal stocks. Yes, Gaurang. You wanted to say anything?
No, nothing.
Okay. Metal space, that's something that's been buzzing. A lot of these stocks, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, SAIL, NMDC, they're again coming back in flavor. Gaurang, anything specific that you're watching out in the metals pack?
Sakshi, I would look, so the Tata Steel, JSW Steel, JSPL and Hindalco. Hindalco was in a tear of a rally, I think about the day before yesterday, on fallback of the numbers from Novalis and the opportunity in terms of growth. And I hope, Sakshi, that the overhang from Chinese news flow, becomes a thing of the past. and possibility of domestic demand as far as ferrous and non-ferrous, metals is likely to go up post the government being in place, simply because of the kind of push that the government is going to give for Bharat Nirman and infrastructure activity. So these four names are something that we are on the positive side. On Vedanta, we had a coverage, but we have put it under review right now. So
Okay.
that's the name that I won't be in a position to comment right.
Okay, fair enough. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Gaurang, for being with us on this show. And it's always a true pleasure to host you and to listen to your wise wisdom that all our viewers also appreciate always week on week. And may you stay healthy, and we will see you very soon back on Market Today and Business Today Television. Mitesh, continuing the discussion with you as far as the metal space is concerned, Gaurang has given a fundamental view. But anything specific that caught your attention as far as the technicals are concerned?
Yeah, I think Tata Steel go with that stock only because above 166 on the 15-minute chart, it has given a strong breakout. So I think for the day, it will test 168, 170 as well. Apart from that, Tata Motor is also coming back on the floor. So above 1005, we are waiting for that. Just this cross 1000. So above 1005, it will give a breakout for the intraday chart as well. And little bit of an activity has started on IEX as well. Two stocks are on the radar, Tata Motor and IEX for the day. Apart from that, yes, Tata Steel is looking good. It's already qualified the buy side trade formation. One can go ahead and buy the stock for intraday as well.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, things are improving further. Now the advanced decline is 1337, 1355 versus 750 in the broader NSE, and all that I see is days high. The PSU banking index days high, Nifty oil and gas index 1.5% higher, days high, energy index, infra index, auto index, all of them are at days high. And what is taking it forward? We got this really early. This was the PSU theme. Business Today tracks 78 PSUs, ladies and gentlemen. Out of 78 PSUs, only 5, let's just say only 4 are in the red, and the losses are so less that it doesn't matter. Chennai Petro 2% lower, MOIL 0.3% lower. Top gainers are the ones that we've discussed, REC, PFC, GAIL, JK Bank, GRSE. Very, very strong moves coming in. A very strong reversal on Power Grid, 1% higher, 297.55. Remember, the record high is 316, 312 or so. Mitesh, would you look at your charts and talk about Power Grid?
Yes, Sanjeev, Power Grid, as far as I will be giving you the FNO rates. So as far as the future rates are concerned, is trading at 299.80, precisely 300. On the hourly chart, 302 is the level to watch out for. Once it's taken out 302, probably for the day, 310 is achievable. So about 200, 302, it's a conditional buy. One can go long with a stop of 298 for an intraday target of 310.
Fair point. That's the view coming in, and Sakshi had caught on to Indraprasth gas fairly early. So let's look at it from this point of view as to the entire energy space in the PSU setup is a buzz. Finance is a buzz. So oil and gas, okay. We track 3 plus 3 plus 3. 11 stocks in FNO oil and gas. Ladies and gentlemen, all 11 are in the green, which are led by, of course, Indraprasth gas, 7.2% higher, and there is a cut in open interest, which essentially points to short covering. GAIL is now claimed its 200-point mark again, at least in futures. There is a very strong buzz on the entire 3 OMCs, primarily because of the crude oil prices being quiet, muted, below 200 DMA, and of course bonus announcements coming in from BPCL and HPCL. ONGC 1.4% higher, and bringing in the rear, Reliance 0.5% higher, at 28.34. What's also buzzing? Ashok Leyland 1.3% higher, and of course the entire metal space led by NMDC, Vedant, Coal India. It's a PSU day across the board. It doesn't matter whether you're looking at banks, it doesn't matter whether you're looking at power financing companies or even oil marketing companies. It's a sea of red. And again, I say the sentiment has improved. Advanced decline ratio is now above 1400 and below 700. So that's a very, very big plus. Sakshi.
Also, the defense pack again is seeing names like HAL, BEL showing some traction in trade. Apart from this, even the shipbuilder stocks, Cochin Shipyard is slightly up in trade again. Container Corporation, that's also higher in trade. Anything that you can spot for us, Mitesh, within this space? What looks extremely positive to you on the charts?
Container Corporation, that is definitely looking very attractive because after the recent consolidation and correction, the stock is now ready for an upside. We are of the view that above 1025, which is just 10 rupees away from here, there will be a strong breakout and stock will likely to enter into a new trading range between 1080 to 1100. So yes, Container Corporation above 1025 is a very strong buy.
Okay, Container Corp is looking very positive as far as the entire defense move is concerned. Anything within the broader markets that warrants any attention? Dolphin Offshore, 5% higher. You have stocks like, which are rarely talked about, those kind of stocks that are moving up. Automotive Stampings has been in the move from last few trading sessions, continues to move up higher. NBCC today is up by 5.6%. Again from the PSU pack. You have Tata Investment Corporation that's up in trade today. Then you also have any other stock that warrants any attention. Not many. Dynacon Systems, that's up in trade as well. On NBCC, would you give us your view? Since we've been discussing this entire PSU pack space, what looks positive as far as NBCC is concerned?
NBCC, after forming its recent top at 176.85, to be very precise, on 5th of February 2024, the stock went for a deep correction and then into the consolidation. Multiple highs have been formed. So ultimately, for the stock to reverse the trend, we are looking for a level of 147.80, that is 148, which it has formed on 23rd of May 23rd of February 2024. So unless and until, Sakshi, if the stock is not trading above 148, you will just see a 1 or 2% or a 4 or 5% kind of an up move. But the kind of up move, if you are looking for, which it has recently started, that is from a level of 87 to a level of 176 in just a matter of few weeks only. For such momentum, the stock needs to close above 148. So we'll watch out for 148 on a closing basis on a weekly chart, and if it closes, then only it's a buy. Otherwise, wait and watch for the stock.
Okay, since I was alluding to the entire metal move, now the index is up by over 1% at the day's high level as well. A lot of other counters have also started to move into the green. I think most of the stocks in the index are higher in trade. Hindustan Zinc, that's the one that caught my attention, 4% higher in trade. Mitesh, how about you on this one, Hindustan Zinc? Would you look at it positively?
See, as far as Hindustan Zinc is concerned, after 2 days, I mean, the rally was continued from a level of 292 to a level of 437. After that, it consolidated and again has given a breakout. And since last 2 days, the stock has corrected. Today, again, the stock has gone up. So we are of the view that this is nothing but an extension of the trend. So current rally will continue. The recent weakness will not remain as it is, and the stock will definitely enter into a new trading range. So yeah, definitely at 4.42% upside, I would like to watch out for the stock. So we'll buy at current level for us with a stop of 455 for a potential target of 480 and 500 in next 5 to 7 trading sessions.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at 9:56 and it's just 4 minutes before we draw to a close on market today. My understanding is that the broader markets are fairly strong, given the kind of trajectory that we are seeing in very high beta trader favorite markets, such as sub markets and sub indices such as the PSU pack, the railway pack, the defense pack. The Nifty is still tied down, down 64 points, 22,235. Remember, it's the 50 EMA that is holding ground. I also want to see what India VIX is doing. I haven't paid attention to that since morning. Just one moment, please. Excuse me. India VIX is also 2.2% higher at 17.3. That is not looking good, but we have to deal with the market with what the market offers us rather than what we hope it will give. So with that background and reality in mind, ladies and gentlemen, one needs to be ready for a VIX of above 21, 22. That means more volatility. That means probably more pain for the Nifty against the backdrop of national elections being held. Now, whether these two are related or not, only time will tell. But savvy traders are not taking many long positions. They are only buying quality stocks, as is visible on REC and PFC. But do consult your independent financial advisor in case you are buying this dip. And at this point of time, what makes sense are perhaps the Nifty and the Bank Nifty ETFs, which mirror their rise dramatically and perfectly. Do not go there at the whole hog. Buy in lots if you have to. Let's see whether Nifty is able to hold out 22,250, 22,200, and then we'll take a further call. Sakshi.
All right. With that, Mitesh, thank you so much for being with us on this very special edition and sharing your views with us over the last 45 minutes odd. Many thanks. It's a pleasure to host you. And viewers, we will wrap it up at that quickly on the market. So about a 0.3% lower take on the Nifty. The Nifty Bank is again, down by about 0.3% to 150 points lower at 48,132. Among the sectors on the Nifty, you will find those that are still holding up in trade are PSU banks, metals, oil and gas space, as well as media higher on the FMCG counters and financial services, and auto stocks eking out just a little bit of gain, but it's the Nifty Bank overall that's down. Apart from this, it's the realty that continues to be trending lower. Healthcare index is 0.5% lower in trade. Consumer durables are lower in trade as well. So it's like a divided market as of now. As far as the top movers on the Nifty are concerned, of course, we've discussed many of these stocks already. Coal India, BPCL, Adani Enterprises, NTPC, ONGC, State Bank of India, Tata Steel are the stocks that are the top movers on the Nifty. On the downward side, you have Dr. Reddy's after the weak earnings, 3.5% lower. HUL, L&T ahead of its earnings, HDFC Bank, Hero MotoCorp ahead of its earnings, and Asian Paints. Some of those stocks that are dragging in trade. Among the F&O movers, you have Indraprastha Gas that's moved to the high point of the day as far as 7.2% of a move is concerned on this one. REC and PFC coming back in full throttle, about 4.5 to 5.5% high in trade. GAIL, HPCL, Mahanagar Gas, Vedanta, Coal India are the other stocks that are buzzing as far as the F&O movers are concerned. On the downside, however, you have Voltas after the earnings, 4.6% lower in the F&O space. Pidilite again after the earnings is down by 4.6%. You have Dr. Reddy's, Colgate, United Breweries as the stocks that are trending lower. The PSU pack is clearly strong with REC PFC leading in the index, GAIL, HPCL, BHEL and NMDC, some of the other movers in trade. With that, we wrap up, but thank you so much for staying with us. Do stay tuned on to Business Today as we will continue to get you earnings conversations. Also on daily calls at 12 p.m. we will be addressing your stock related queries. So do join in and let the stock market experts give you their views as far as your own stock specific concerns are concerned. Many thanks for tuning in onto this one.